Crescent Lunge. Let's get started with the foundations of Crescent Lunge. For Crescent Lunge, you want your feet to be in different train tracks. What does this mean? We're not going to place one foot exactly in front of the other, right? Instead, we want two separate train tracks. You want each leg to stay in their lane, in other words, okay? So you have your front knee is nicely bent 90 degrees. Stack your front knee over your front heel. Avoid doing this, okay? You want them nicely stacked. Your back leg is engaged. Ooh, it is sending energy just like so. Might have a slight bend. That's not a big deal. Actually, a nice modification for this as well. Maybe you bring your knee to your mat. That's perfectly fine too. But wherever you are, in whatever modification you find yourself in, stack your shoulders over your hips. Whew. I need to constantly remind myself of that in this pose. I tend to shift, but remember, stack your shoulders over your hips, engage your belly button in, protect your low spine. I'm going to be repeating that a lot because I love you, okay? Now send your hands over towards the sky or keep them in prayer pose, whatever it works best for your shoulders. But always bring your shoulders back into their sockets and then send energy from your fingertips, keep everything active. Breathe here, sink a little bit deeper. See how that feels. Remember, tailbone, you want it slightly forward. You don't want it tilted. Notice that glute engagement. Something that I tend to see a lot in class is when students bring their knee inward, try to keep your knee pointing between your second and third toe, just like so. Or maybe if you want a little bit more engagement and your body allows for it, see if you can move it maybe 1 inch closer to the outer edge of your mat, just like that. Get that booty on fire, friends. Another important thing to remember, keep your hips even. So avoid having one hip a little bit forward than the other. Keep them nice and even, and then send them towards the mat, hands towards the sky. I shifted my legs here so you can take a good peek, but the intent is to keep your hips nice and even, right? Sometimes I see a lot of this where we take our hip with our leg. You want both of your hips to face forward.